Well, Franco, you mentioned with the postseason and all-star break, right? Something you really want to hone in on is knowing your rotations, knowing your opponent's rotations, right? But within the Celtics rotation, something I kind of clicked tonight was, listen, we're kind of getting some consistency here within our lineup. And, we understand Atlanta was the second night of a back-to-back, no Horford, no Porzingis. Sorry, it happens, right? It is what it is. That's kind of the effect you're going to get with the Celtics team. However, outside of that, guys, we have seen here kind of through the month of January, this team has been healthy, knock on wood, but they have had their rotation guys playing. And I don't know about you guys, but is it more important for the Celtics to be healthy come playoff time, or to be, and obviously you want both, right? Or to be playing, right, efficient basketball with guys in and out of the lineup?
Well, for me, it's kind of both. I mean,
Yeah,
you definitely want both, but
right.
I think
Next man up too.
it's it's hard to say one or the other if you were going to pick one or the other because really you need to be going into the playoffs playing well because really if you didn't have the health, I shouldn't say it's that hard to pick one or the other. I think you do want to be playing efficient basketball and consistent basketball going into the playoffs more than health sometimes because we've seen with Celtics teams in the past, they haven't been exactly healthy going into the playoffs, yet they've been playing well and they actually went on nice little playoff runs. You think about 2022, Robert Williams not healthy going into the playoffs. Celtics still made the finals because they were on a hot streak. You think about 2018, Marcus Smart was not ready to go into the playoffs. Celtics still make the Eastern Conference Finals. He comes back during Game 5 in the first round against Milwaukee. So I would say typically it's there's more importance on playing consistent going into the playoffs than health, but the health factor is just as big because if you don't have some of your key contributors, I don't understand why people they look at the Celtics they go, oh, they're so deep. The Celtics bench right now is actually not deep at all. Their top 6, 7 players, it's pretty deep if you really look at the starting lineup, sure. But then after that, it's like Sam Hauser is playing horrifically. He had a better night tonight, but he's playing horrifically as of late. And then after that, you really look at guys like, okay, you have Cornette. He can give you what he gives you as a big guy. Same thing with Kata. Tillman, we haven't seen it all. We saw him in garbage time tonight. Congrats on Xavier Tillman for finally getting minutes. After that, you're talking about Walsh, Shireman, Springer. These are all guys that you want to see actually inserted into the lineup maybe a little bit more if you're the Boston Celtics here and there amongst their struggles. But ultimately, the team right now, as it's constructed, if you lose one of your top 6, if you're the Boston Celtics, or really top 5, there are going to be some players who are able to slot in and play well and maybe make up some of those minutes. Say if you lost a White or a Holiday, you'd still have Pritchard there off the bench. But realistically, it is a little thin. It's a little shallow off the bench for the Boston Celtics. So the health factor is going to be super huge. And that's not just with if we were to lose somebody, but that's just with everybody having the correct stamina to go and make a 4 round playoff run because this Celtics team has played a lot of basketball in recent years. And the realistic fact of basketball is you get tired. You just do. If you play a lot of basketball, if you're playing really, 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 really hard, you're gonna get tired. You're running up and down the floor. There's a lot of running in the half court. There's a lot of sprinting, jumping. It's just a hard physical game to play. And so, on one hand, yes, I think the consistency going into the playoffs is actually a little bit more important than health, but the health factor is really important from the standpoint of not losing somebody and then allowing the bench to take over because there's really not a ton off the bench for the Boston Celtics if you look at it, but it's just about the whole team too being at their healthiest state, even if that doesn't include an injury. So that's kind of my take on that, or it is my take, not kind of.
My take was I'll say this though. I want consistency. I obviously want to keep our 5 that we have like in the lineup. But the other day I was actually talking to somebody, and so I think a guy that we haven't really seen as consistent as of late. He's kind of getting a little bit back up there with Derek White though. I thought that I had was maybe putting him on the bench for some time because that's kind of how he was kind of starting with his role in Boston. And I mean, if you can put Peyton Pritchard in there to kind of maybe like step away from the 6-man role and just kind of show what he can bring to maybe get our starting lineup a little bit more fuel, because I don't care about like the individual awards at the end of the day. I just want to win as many games as possible because you want to make sure that you get our guys in for the playoffs, and you want to make sure that we get the momentum going because, like we were saying, the playoffs are like right around the corner too. And I want to just see, make sure our guys are healthy. Obviously, that's number one. We all know that for a fact. But I want the consistency to just come from the players that shine. If guys aren't shining, then maybe Mizzou needs to be a little bit more strict with them and have them sit on the bench for a couple games, or maybe just kind of come off the bench and see how their role fits better with that. But I mean, obviously not like Tatum, not Brown, but the other three are in question. But I think that we'll get to there at some point.
Right.
Yeah, I think the next man up mentality is going to be huge, especially where I don't want to talk about the hypotheticals of injury, but it is a part of the game. But being able to get those contributions from players that we look at championship teams from past, or really one of the biggest thorns in the side of the Celtics in recent years, probably not as much as this year as their roster is starting to fall apart. You look at the Miami Heat, they were able to always have a player who is ready to shine in the big moments, being able to fill in if there were injuries. I remember watching playoff games and being like, who the hell is Hayward Highsmith? And he would end up going off the bench and dropping 12 or 15 points.
Right.
And it's something that the Celtics have really done a great job of doing in their developmental, and being able to have these guys be ready for the moment. You look at performances from Drew Peterson earlier on the season. He is one of the more NBA ready G League players the Boston Celtics have right now. So, what happened to my camera?
Well, we have no idea what happened to Franco.
Oh,
No, I'm gone. Oh, there I am. Okay.
What
Okay.
happened to my camera?
All right. Well, while Franco figures that out,
That's oddly what happened to my stream during the game. It just cut out like that.
cut
so.
out. It happens.
It
Technical
happens.
difficulties happen. But while Franco figures that out, I can give my 2 cents. I agree. Both are obviously very important. However, with this particular Celtics team, I'm going to say health is more important. And here's why I say that as we can get Franco back. There we go. I say health is more important because this team really thins out when the health isn't there. And, obviously they made a run with Kristaps Porzingis out of the lineup just last season. They won the NBA championship with him only playing 3.5 playoff games. But I think this year in particular, I do want to see them healthy. With that being said, though, I mean, consistency by the playoffs and playing good basketball is extremely, extremely important. And I think that I will put that right as 1B. It's 1A and 1B.